Hello there, welcome back to the channel. Wow, what a first day of tennis we have just had at Wimbledon. I don't think I've seen a better day at a Grand Slam in a while. Between some top players being knocked out, major shocks, thrilling matches, five set thrillers, and also two matches that didn't even finish that are gonna be completed tomorrow because at Wimbledon there's a rule that states that no match can be played after 11 p.m. in the evening. Um, so let's start off at the start of the day. There was a major shock because the ninth seed, Daniel Medvedev. So we're talking here about the semi-finalist in the past 2 years at Wimbledon in 2023, 2024, knocked out in the first round by the Frenchman Benjamin Bonzi, who's ranked 64th in the world. This is Bonzi's biggest victory at a Grand Slam, his first top 10 win. But this comes as just such a surprise. Considering Medvedev's record at Wimbledon, this is also This is the first time Medvedev has been knocked out in the first round at Wimbledon. However, it is less surprising, taking into consideration Medvedev's record at Grand Slams this year so far. I mean, at the Australian Open earlier in the year, knocked out in the second round by a lower ranked player. French Open, Roland Garros, knocked out first round as well. And again, by a player who was ranked outside of the top 50. And here it is exactly the same, with Benjamin Bonzi ranked outside the top 50. So that was a major shock. Medvedev was just completely lost control of his emotions at the end of the match, smashing his racket. Um, but that was only the beginning because just just a few maybe an hour or two after that, the Greek former top five player Stefanos Tsitsipas, who himself has been having an awful season this year. In the past five tournaments, he hasn't gone past the third round, and at this tournament, Wimbledon 2025, knocked out, as is the case for Daniel Medvedev. Tsitsipas beaten by a qualifier, which makes it even worse. Just to put this into context, Tsitsipas had to retire after the first two sets, so he was already two sets down with an apparent back injury. But I mean, let's not confuse this minor injury with just his performance on the day, which was again very disappointing. I mean, grass is not his best performing surface, but still you expect much better from Stefanos Tsitsipas. So that was again another seed at Wimbledon knocked out on day one. Um, and then we had an absolute roller coaster of a match. Um, I mean, already after Medvedev and Tsitsipas being knocked out, that you could argue that that's already a decent enough day in terms of upsets, but potentially Carlos Alcaraz was on the verge of being knocked out. He was playing Fabio Fognini, the Italian, in the first round, but Fognini ultimately crumbled in the final set. Alcaraz prevailing in five sets, but having watched most of this match, a lot of credit has to go to Fognini for being able to show such a high level, such a high level. I mean, he's a former top 10 player, but at 38 years of age, I mean, you could just see at the end of the match the respect being shown from Fognini to Alcaraz, but also from Alcaraz to Fognini. Alcaraz was literally pointing at Fognini after the match because rightly so, he deserves a lot of praise. And I mean, Fognini has come out after the match saying that he cried in the locker room and that he may consider calling this his last, calling it a day, and this could be his last match ever because he has announced that he's retiring at the end of the season. But after such a match, I mean, I can understand he would want to go out on a high, and I mean, Fognini played at a high level. Alcaraz was definitely not at the level he's been at this season, but especially on grass, because let's not forget he has won Queens again this year. But if Alcaraz goes on to win Wimbledon, he'll remember this match as being the match that ultimately it was a scrap. He, as I mentioned, he was not at his best level at all. But these are the type of matches where, again, I mean, it seems as though as soon as an Alcaraz match goes to 5 sets, goes to a fifth set, Alcaraz is not going to lose, because Alcaraz now has a record of he's played 15 5-set matches. He's only one loss in 5 sets. So it seems as if he always finds that extra gear to elevate his level. Then in terms of other surprises, the 8th seed Holger Rune joining Medvedev and Tsitsipas in losing his opening round match, but this time he was so in his match he was playing a qualifier, Jarry. Rune was 2 sets up against Jarry, and then lost the next 3 sets. So it was a comeback victory by Jarry. But this, honestly, I mean, if you see my prediction video, I had Rune losing in the second round, because I just you cannot predict or go for Rune. I mean, you can't say that he's going to reach the back end of a Grand Slam now. I mean, it's so disappointing, because for a player who's got so much promise, who's got a really talented he's got an array of weapons. He's still young, I guess, but he's been on the tour now for a few years, and it's just the inconsistency. And I mean, this year it's just been one of his worst seasons. I mean, apart from when he won the Barcelona tournament in the final against Alcaraz, apart from that, nothing from Rune this year. So that's still a surprising loss. I didn't have him losing as soon as the first round. But look, I'm not gonna dwell too much on the predictions, because I did predict Medvedev to reach the semi-final, and he's out first round as well. So I think some of these results have caught a lot of people off guard. Then, well, a special mention as well to the 18-year-old João Fonseca, the Brazilian star, playing his first match ever at Wimbledon in the main draw, and he won it relatively easily in straight sets against a home favourite Brit player, Jacob Fernley. So that's another milestone for Fonseca in this. I mean, it's definitely a breakthrough season for Fonseca. That already winning his first Grand Slam match in all Grand Slams at the Australian Open, then at the French Open reaching the third round. Now he's won his first match at Wimbledon. And moving on to the later matches. So I mean, we were on the verge of witnessing another seed falling, another top 10 seed falling in Taylor Fritz, the fifth seed, who has managed to rally back from a really tough position against the massive server, the Frenchman Mpetshi Pericard, who took the first 2 sets in 2 tie breaks. And then Fritz managed to come back and win the 3rd set, and then the 4th set in spectacular fashion in the tie breaks. So there's been 3 tie breaks in this match. So I mentioned earlier in the video that 2 matches have been suspended and will resume tomorrow. Well, that's one of them, because they just didn't have time to finish the last set. So it's going to be fascinating to see what will that break in play do to the players, because Fritz seemed quite frustrated at the end of the evening, because he wanted to build on his momentum. I mean, he just won the last two sets, so this break could work in favour of Pericard, who's I mean, both players were serving huge, with a lot of aces. Pericard 33 and Fritz 24. So that's going to be one to follow tomorrow, to see if there's a potential other upset. And to finish off the day on centre court, there was more tie breaks between the third seed Alexander Zverev and the Frenchman Rune. And by the way, it's been an insane first day for French tennis, because Bonzi, French player, knocking Medvedev out. The qualifier Royer, who beat Tsitsipas as well, as I mentioned before. Pericard, Frenchman, who could be about to be the number 5 seed, and so Rindignac, who's French as well, had set points to go 2 sets up against the third seed Zverev. However, Zverev managed to come back and win in the tie break that set, and that could be crucial for the outcome of this match. But that match will resume tomorrow. So a record-breaking day at Wimbledon in terms of the heat. It was the hottest day on record on an opening day at Wimbledon for ever. That, in my view, had a kind of effect and caused a few upsets. And obviously, for example, I didn't go through that upset, but for example, the former finalist Berrettini got knocked out in the first round as well in 5 sets, and he looked really lacking energy and struggling a lot in the heat. Medvedev himself admitted that the heat was a factor. So it's going to be another very hot day tomorrow. So could the heat play a role again in some of these matchups? We're going to have to see. But what a first day at Wimbledon, and that was the roundup of day 1.